Federal Labor says it ultimately wants all parents to get 90% of their childcare costs subsidised by the Commonwealth. Last night, opposition leader Anthony Albanese set out Labor's proposal to lift childcare subsidy rates and scrap the annual cap. For more, I'm joined by economist Alison Pennington from the Centre for Future Work. Good afternoon and welcome to you.
Good afternoon.
Is Labor's proposal equal to universal childcare?
It's falling 10% short of universal childcare. I think where the proposal sort of differs from the ones that have been put forward by lots of economists is universal free public childcare is the optimal model, because it's about how we deliver it, what kind of framework and what kind of system do we deliver it in. But I think Albanese's speech definitely kind of hinted that they're moving in that direction. A 90% subsidy, we may as well go all the way and make it a universal and free system.
What do you make of the commitment that Anthony Albanese announced last night?
Well, it's he framed it rightfully as a structural economic reform to the Australian economy, and we are very far behind many advanced economies in our provision of childcare. So we have some of the highest childcare costs in the OECD, and what that means is this is before COVID. We already knew that it was presenting pretty serious barriers to letting women access paid work opportunities and work to their full potential in the way they wanted to. So it wasn't making sense for women to work more than 3 days a week before the cost of childcare were basically eroding their capacity to earn. So this was a barrier pre-COVID. What we've seen in the crisis is that women have lost more of their jobs and incomes. And we now have very clear evidence that for those families who are accessing free childcare in that free childcare period before it was taken away, 60% of those households said that one of the people working would have to stop working, and 2/3 of those households said that would be the mother. So that's that presents a very serious structural inequality that we're going to bake into our economy now. And that's why something like free universal childcare expands the size of our workforce, by increasing the number of people working. We have more people earning. When there's more people earning, they're paying taxes. And research by the Australia Institute shows that the system more than pays for itself just by having more women in the workplace earning and paying taxes.
How many more women, and indeed even men, would you expect would be able to enter the workforce because of this measure?
Well, I think if we could lift our workforce participation rates to the same level of Nordic countries, which have these free universal systems, we're looking at hundreds of thousands of more people in the workforce. But the issue here is the key difference with the budget that's being put forward and the narrative and the story that the government is telling us that says only the private sector can lead our recovery. We're going to keep coming into these barriers because the for-profit childcare system is unable to expand the access for the number of people who can work. So it's actually an economic hindrance. Right now, we couldn't say exactly how many people would use the system because we don't know how many people are being held back, how many people are unemployed. So it's a combination of creating a universal free system to reduce the barrier to work, but then it's also about creating real jobs, and that's where investing in childcare is a great job creator. It's a very labour-intensive
You did mention earlier that this initiative would pay for itself, but the opposition leader said that Labor would spend $6.2 billion in upgrading childcare. The boost in economic growth might not, though, equal the investment. He put it conservatively at $4 billion. Would it pay for itself over time? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. I think if you look at the benefits of childcare, I mean, if you were to look at just the first upfront cost in the first couple of years, yes, because we'd need to construct new childcare centres to meet new demand. That's going to cost money. But look, that's going to put tens of thousands of people into construction jobs. We would say, that benefit we would start reaping that benefit very soon after providing those upfront costs, because once you have people in jobs, by the end of that taxable year, they're paying taxes. Businesses have bigger workforces, their productivity increases, they're paying more taxes into the system too. So the benefits, I think, would start to be realised in the medium term, and we are at a point now with this very deep recession after COVID, we have to be thinking about long-term structural changes to get us back on track to creating a more inclusive and a better economy than the one we had coming into this crisis.
Economist Alison Pennington, great to get your thoughts on this. Thank you.
The bottom 20% get nothing. They're really unfair tax cuts.
People want to see much stronger action from the government when it comes to climate change.
Wages are growing at their slower, sustained pace.
Transitioning to net zero emissions, it doesn't seem like there's much room for gas.